might be crazy, but
880 is weekly kickoff high in the NASDAQ. It is the high.
there we go.
880.
Oh boy.
Where are we at
Oh boy.
on the? I know it's Friday. It's always interesting to look at the weekly charts on a Friday. Looking at the Nasdaq, there's no lower wick. Every once in a while we quote Coach Paul and say, weekly candles don't normally end without a wick on both sides. It would be pretty insane right now to get a wick on the lower extreme of the Nasdaq right now. Something crazy would have to happen. But we are putting in that wick on the upper extreme, right? We took a look at 26,000 earlier this week. And there is that wick to the upside. Let's see if you want to continue to push, make a new high here. Coach Vince, you said you may be looking at a short here in the S&P?
Yeah, I mean, up against that 7,000, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I could limit my risk, right? If I take it and it busts out the high, then, it's a cheap opportunity. But I'm going to give it a couple minutes here to see how we trade and see if we get kind of a little bit more failure up here. So interesting stuff though today. I mean, the Dow is range bound too. It's kind of like yesterday, NASDAQ is still flirting with the IB high right now. So
we do have the potential for selling tail up here, failed upside auction. You gotta wait. You got a while to wait before we get any confirmation.
Yeah. That's the only thing.
We did turn around we didn't take out all-time highs in the spot market in the SPX. We came within about 3 points of, there was a pretty big increase in positive gamma up around here on the chart. So not surprising that it's slowing down a little bit.
Metals are rallying.
What's new?
Everything. What goes up must come down, though, at some point, right?
Yeah. Possibly.
Spinning wheel.
You first.
So we had NFP this morning, right? How do you view that, Jack?
It was fine. I mean, it's, how can I spin this to be exciting? Like, how would you call this? I mean, it was nothing super special one way or the other. You probably saw we got a brief pop, and then before we got into that Supreme Court window that never happened, it was kind of back to where it was. It's just showing the same thing we've been seeing. Labor market's tight. We basically have not a lot of firings, not a lot of hirings. 50K jobs, 37 from the private sector, and it was mostly the same thing as always. We need more and more healthcare workers to take care of us in our old age. So we'll see. On to the next one. One of these numbers is going to be cool.
This is the NFP candle right here, the 5-minute bar.
Yeah.
The ES right there. I mean, look what we're doing. We're expanding the range, right?
Yep.
Interesting. Both sides. Wiped everybody out.
Yeah, and it's possible too. I saw some messages in chat, but just to say, I had seen all this chatter too. People had hedges on in front of the Supreme Court thing. They had some YOLO plays on, I don't know, like Nike or Restoration Hardware, or they just had, puts they bought in case it came out negative and crashed the market today. But them not releasing it and moving out to June means all those were probably jettisoned real quick, and that's what was in part fueling this big rally. I'm still perplexed by the that initial very strong movement down. That was some nasty work.
Yeah, that was scary. But you did the right thing. You're like, well, if we take a loss, we take a loss. That's what it is.
Well, exactly. In real time, my internal monologue was like, what the F is happening? Like, it slowed down. Don't start selling off. I'm like, this doesn't feel like it should be happening right now.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Hey, we did get some
Let's see if we hold
rejection,
these
right?
short. What is it?
7,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so tempted to do it, but that's all right. We'll be patient.
There'll be more opportunities.
Yep. Let's see if we can hold this value high here. We got, where's the initial balance here? We're at IB high is
IB
what,
high.
69.90 Hogue? 69.90?
69.98 and a half.
Yeah.
We got crude pushing up against the session highs here, just not able to extend it at all just yet. It is a very wide initial balance for crude.
Now the dust has settled. We got Broadcom up nearly 3%, Google up a little over a percent, Tesla up 1.7, Nvidia is basically flat. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple down, but not much. The 10-year rate that we mentioned once again bounced off that 4.2%. We're trading 416.5, which is a weird way to quote it. 4.165 at the moment.
Is gold at all-time highs right now? 45.25?
No.
What's the all-time high on that? Where we have the all-time high in gold?
Give me a second and I'll find it.
Boy, I should have took that short, huh?
Whatever the high was on the day after Christmas, according to the spot market.
Yeah, it was 45.84 in the December, excuse me, in the Feb contract.
The Feb, okay. 45.84, okay.
You talk
Hey,
about
what's up,
capital
guys?
preservation Friday. Hey, Jay.
There he is.
I'm back.
What's up, Jay?
Coach Vince, you take that short. This may be the megaphone that we were talking about. I'm looking at a VWAP here in the market,
Jay,
so I had to disconnect for a little bit. But I'm looking at.
I got stage
VWAP.
fright.
It happens, Vince. It's all good. Made the right call. But VWAP since the New York session has started is a flat line. I have it in the Nasdaq down at 25,746, and in the S&P 69.79. So the markets are trying to trade higher, but back to that point we were talking about there, Hogue. If there are no convinced buyers to trade above that 7,000 level in the S&P, can we trade higher?
No.
It's been the
no
issue for 3
convinced
months
buyers,
now.
no new buying, no longer time frame. We already saw it up there once this week, and it was rejected. Looks to be rejected again.
It's a nice little rotation there.
Yes, it is. There were some traders in the chat earlier saying, how can you call this a range, right? Every day we come into the markets is always going to be something different, right? A different headline that comes out, different price action. We don't know, but after a while, patterns are patterns, right? And they start to look like something that you've seen before, which of course, we deal with uncertainty every day. So we can't say for sure that something's happening, but when it looks like something else, then you can start to make your assumptions from there. So do we go and take out another low? The one thing we do know is that there's a big seller in the S&P. We saw those 2,000 contracts on the offer. Do we think we're done trading that price? We'll see here. But
what a day.
Right now, we're right back in the middle.
Yep. Let's see what we have here.
Let's take a look at the tilt has kind of flipped both sides. Haven't really seen the tilt get short until right now. 62% short in the S&P, 63% short in the Nasdaq. So maybe some traders leaning against that 7,000 level there in the S&P.
Failed upside auction.
There we go. There we go.
What are we looking at, Jack?
Hey, we just had like a pretty nice sell-off there in the ES down the VWAP. We're inside that 5-minute
it's target right there.
Handle.
Hogue,
80s
I
is a good target.
missed calling out the initial balance prices, but I just heard you say failed upside auction in the S&P potentially here.
And in the
That initial
NASDAQ,
balance high, what are we looking at, Hogue?
S&P IB high 69.98 half. NASDAQ IB high 25.860.75.
So what do we do with that information, Hogue? I know we're usually looking for another 15 minutes or so for a confirmed failure, but
Yeah.
if we're looking for that rotation, are we looking for another test of the IB low, or does this start to turn into a normal trading day?
That would be a logical and probable target is to trade all the way to the IB low. Does it always happen? No. If it trades below the IB low and then comes back in, that's when it becomes more of a range bound day. So when it trades above and below the IBs and comes back inside the initial balance, that's when the market has a tendency to just kind of become range bound for the rest of the day. I'm not really expecting anything like big like that unless something happens or something changes. If you didn't preempt the failed upside auction, you pretty much got left behind. And coming down to the point of control is probably a decent, reasonable and probable first exit. Value low would be a
Sure.
reasonable second exit, and IB low would be a reasonable third exit.
So another one, just taking what the market presents to you, but with some reasonable targets. And Coach Vince, I heard you say, that was the target there, those 80s, which is that New York
Yeah,
session
80s.
VWAP, right? Again, it is a flat line. I know the one thing, if I'm not in a position, I probably don't want to be establishing trades at that New York session VWAP. But if you got short up there, for my trading strategy, that's probably where you start to think position management, because that's where most of the volume is traded for the day. So seeing a little bit of a bounce from those 80s there. 69.85 last trade here in the S&P, 25.796 last trade in the NASDAQ, 45.20 half last trade in gold, and crude oil pretty much on its highs of the day. A nice hold by the house account, 59.33, still long. One full dollar in crude oil trade can be hard to come by. We see the daily ATR is $1.40, and took a nice piece out of that trade, Hogue. Hogue's gone.
Hope's
Uh-oh.
taking a quick break right here. If you look at the hourly chart for a second here, we've rallied a little bit, but one hell of a doji printing on that since the Supreme Court window. You wild hour of trading.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it will be.
Just
It feels
bounced
like
off
we've
the
been trading
VWAP,
for 3 hours already.
Hey, it's Friday.
Yeah,
Feels
NASDAQ.
like it's
I mean, out of all the markets right now, the NASDAQ to me is appearing probably the strongest. But they're all range bound at the moment. Expanding ranges, consolidating now inside. It's going to be an interesting day.
Also interesting, I forgot to check in on this. I just assumed Ole Miss won last night. Miami did? Cool.
Nice.
I was in bed already, and I just assumed that, must have been a good game.
D says, time feeling slow is usually mental capital fading a bit. Well, damn, I got another 3 hours on air, so I got to re-up on some mental capital here. We'll see. The good thing is I'm not taking any trades. I saw a question from Like a Boss. It says, do you guys take any trades, or do you just talk about them? Well, we saw Jack take a pretty nice trade here in the S&P from 69.63. I'm actually driving right now, so I'm not supposed to be trading, but I actually did take a short in the Russell with the sell-off a little bit earlier. We got Coach Vince scanning for some trades right now. The one thing we're going to do is take trades in areas where it makes sense and establish risk. So we'll talk context, and then when the market presents an opportunity, we will take them from there. Let's talking more trading, Dolby. I got you. Let's see what we can do here.
We want good. We want good opportunities, right?
Exactly. $80 in silver. There we go. New highs of the day. Silver's getting close. It is getting close
Yeah,
to that
there we
all-time
go.
high. Up
Gold's
6.5%
popping.
on the day in silver. Yeah, driving the show, guys, not a car. That would be insane.
Don't drive a car while you're on YouTube.
Don't drive a car while you're trading, not while you're on YouTube, streaming.
You should try that next week.
I would not on stream. Vince, not on stream. Bad things will happen.
What is it with
Alright,
people filming themselves on in the cars in general? It's like, why do the wildest takes from all over just come from people sitting in their cars? I don't know.
You know what was always weird to me, Jack? You see like some of the food reviewers now. I've seen these videos on Instagram and Twitter where they'll go to a restaurant, order food, and then eat it in the car and review the food in the car. And I've definitely like gone through a Chick-fil-A drive-through, and finish my meal before I get home, but I'm not recording it. It's never made
They
any
don't have
sense
the
to me.
guts.
But, hey,
The reason they do it, they don't have the guts to do it in the restaurant and make a scene. Not that I like those people either, but they go to their comfy little car so they can talk about Bojangles or whatever shit they're up on.
yeah, I saw some girl eating like a seafood boil in the front seat of her car. I was like, what are you? I would
my
need a new
God.
car after that. What the hell are you doing?
Psychotic behavior.
Wow.
Right.
I'm gonna go grab
Anything
a
for views,
cantina
man.
bowl
Anything for
later.
views.
I'll film it as I'm trading in the car.
Anything for views. Back in the
Give me a
range
little
here,
pop
69.84 last trade. Yeah. What are you saying, Vince?
No, I'm just seeing a little pop here. I want to see if we can get back outside of value in these markets and maybe try to find some sort of direction. Right, we've been range bound, pretty much all morning so far. But maybe we'll find direction at some point. We're shaking out of the NFP. What else came out, Jack?
Michigan sentiment was at 9.
You said something else came out.
Basically in line.
Okay.
Not the Supreme Court.
Yeah, so maybe
That
we're
I
just doing a
know.
little shake and bake here. Okay.
I was really hoping that could be my whole morning, just talking about the Supreme Court. But did they release anything?
Pull the rug under you.
Yeah.
Pull the rug, Jack.
Oh, they didn't even release anything, huh?
Well, not on tariffs, but presumably they released something. Let's see.
I hope these markets wake up, though.
Quick.
They're just silver. What's going on with silver? Silver is up 80.15 the high. We have gold.
Going back a little bit here.
Nice little pullback here. Let me try to pull up gold. I'm gonna pull up gold and silver.
Just a reminder where those orders filled in the S&P, 69.60. I'm still watching that price. 3,000 contracts in 2 minutes. Don't trade at a level for no reason. So we'll see what happens here. Still a lot of trading day left, right? We're just an hour and not even an hour and a half into the market open yet. That is a ton of size at that level. I don't think that happens for no reason. So we will see there. Let us know what you guys are trading in the chat. I'm looking at the tilt, 62% long in the S&P, 61% long in the NASDAQ, 63% long crude oil. Very nice trade there from the house, 59.37 last trade, and 54% long in gold. 45.20 last trade in gold. Got another guest coming in here in just a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, Vince.
I may look for a long in gold on a nice little pullback, though. I want to see it pull back to around like 45.10 or 12-ish and maybe build a little floor there, and then maybe try to get into a continuation trade. Silver and gold are both in a trending state at the moment, right? So I want to try to participate on the long side of those markets right now, but I do want to get a nice pullback before I take a stab at it.
Coach Vince scouting an opportunity here in gold potentially. as we see the equity markets back into the
Yeah.
range.
Silver too. I
Crude
mean,
oil,
if
man.
silver pulls back to around 79.30s, I might get interested.
Have you moved to trading crude oil in the live markets? Or I know you were trading in the practice account, Coach Vince.
You're breaking up there.
We got the mute. Oh, you got.
No, it's breaking up a little bit for some reason.
Okay, we'll try and.
No, I was just saying,
go
have you
on-
moved over to trading crude oil in the live markets?
Crude or silver, you mean?
Silver, yeah, silver.
Silver or crude? Yes, yeah, silver. So yesterday I took my first micro silver in my XFA, and it was a loss. You know, but overall, I've been trading silver pretty well in the practice account. I'm up like 50,000, I think, practicing it just on regular, trades. But my first one was a loss in the XFA, so we'll see if I can grab one today at some point. Change it. What about you? You trading it yet in your account?
I've taken a couple. I've taken a couple trades. It is pretty volatile. I try to keep the trades in the metals, especially silver, to the Asia session, right? 8 p.m. Eastern time, slow markets time, because we see that volume come in for Asia. I feel like a lot of times when I try to trade it during the New York session, I get kind of chopped up. But yeah, it's been
it's
a nice
beast of
market to
a
trade.
contract, that's for sure. Even on micros,
Yes, it is.
yeah, even the
Yes, it
micros,
is.
you're risking probably a minimum of $200 on one micro minimum. So
Right.
it's a big contract.